Good morning. How are you all doing? I wanted to make this video. This will be on Facebook Live. It will also be on my YouTube, hopefully, if I can take care of the problems that I'm having with uploading to YouTube. And so, how are you guys doing? I wanted to talk about the new moon in Scorpio that's happening this Wednesday morning if you are in Pacific Standard Time, and how powerful this new moon is, okay? So let's talk for a second about why this new moon in Scorpio is so powerful. The first being, it's smack dab in the middle of the sign. So it's in 15 degrees of Scorpio, and it shows us that this is not, new scorpionic energy. This is really mastery at the level of learning some things that have been happening for us in this last year, with Jupiter transiting through Scorpio, with Venus retrograding through Scorpio, which it is still retrograding. However, it's in Libra now. Now, when we have Venus in Libra, whenever we have Venus in Libra, since it rules Libra, Venus does, it's going to give us a lot more information on how to bring cohesiveness to our heart chakra, to our relationships, to our sense of the other, and not just for ourselves. So partnership issues are really lit up at this time. This is a very, very Libra new moon, even though it's in Scorpio. It just has a lot of those marriage, partnership, business partnership influences. So I'm going to talk about that. I also want to talk about this Jupiter and how it's changing sign this week. I say that this week all the astrologers are like, oh my gosh, there's so much happening. And like, it's so fun to even pay attention to what other astrologers are talking about, because everybody's seeing something different and it all really fits together, and it's pretty amazing. So it's a very exciting time. There's a lot of newness happening, and I really want to talk about all these new possibilities that are available to you. So before I get started, I have my annoying dog with me, and he wants me to throw the stick, and I'm going to ignore him, and he's going to get really mad at me. But I wanted to talk about these Jupiter through the signs. Jupiter through the signs. I'm going to do a YouTube video on that. However, I'm also doing Paco, stop. I'm also doing individual, based on your chart, transit readings for the next year, and really looking at the aspects that Jupiter is making to your chart and how you can manifest and grow and make new things happening in your life. If you want to understand, I will have a whole other video about Jupiter. If you want to understand Jupiter through Sagittarius, you want to look back to 2006 to 2007, and that 1 year, so from November 2006 to December 2007, it's going to give you information about not what it's going to look like this time for you, because that's about astrology. Everything builds on each other, right? So it's not going to be the same, but it's going to have those similar themes. And so I can think back to that time frame for me, and I can think about Sagittarius is about expanding the mind. I can think about what things were on my mind. I can think about, oh my gosh, I really knew what I wanted to study at that time, and I knew things that were coming up for me. Sorry, I have to switch hands. So it can give you some information about where you might want to think about investing more time and resources. That being said, you have to be careful with the resources when Sagittarius, when you have Jupiter in Sagittarius, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and so it can overexpand. And you have to be careful, because the next cycle, the next year, will be Jupiter in Capricorn, which is like having to pay for all those bills that you went into during that time. So you want to be aware of that. There's always a light and a dark side with any of the signs. There's always the light and the shadow. And when we have Jupiter moving into Sagittarius this week, we will see collectively something being brought to the surface, and yeah, big time. Okay, maybe you'll do something else around that. Okay, so it's a big time, and so we'll see something happen collectively, just like last year. As soon as Jupiter moved into Scorpio, we saw a lot of things shifting and changing with the Me Too movement, with things being brought to the surface. So likewise, this year, I have a whole other video on this, but I am excited to talk to you about it, so I'm just going to say a few themes that you might notice. Collectively, higher learning, higher education, changes and shifts to some very conservative or conservative views around education, and we know that like this higher learning, it's going to come. So it doesn't matter if it is in... Paco, I'm not going to throw the stick. Sorry, I will in a minute. I did throw it for you for a while so that you'd leave me alone. Okay, so we are going to see things happening in the higher education, but also in terms of like more liberal views around education and how to get information. So those kind of things all might be coming up. We also will see more cultural acceptance. Thankfully, we saw a lot of things coming out of the shadow around that kind of thing. I was saying I did an Instagram video too, and I was talking about how you know, it's really hard to find a Sagittarian that is racist or is not open to other cultures or to learning about other cultures. However, the one example that would be of a way of getting around this is someone who's really dogmatic, and their religious beliefs lead them to think that there is one more important culture or whatever that is. But so religion, there's going to be a lot of things around higher education, religion, religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs, also aliens. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see what happens around that. And opening our awareness to the cosmos. We will see Jupiter on the galactic center at the end of this transit, which is going to be huge. It's going to be a huge year, you guys. I'm super excited. So if you've been having problems with having faith in our government, with having faith in our collective society, this is a time to get the faith back and to set new intentions for manifestations. Okay, so this new moon is in 15 degrees of Scorpio. You want to look to where that is in your chart. It has a lot of influences to partnership and starting fresh, even within relationships that have been, you know, relationships that you've had your whole life. This cycle is going to start. It starts with a Scorpio new moon. It's going to have a full moon in Gemini on Thanksgiving. So if you're in Pacific Standard Time, it's going to be on Thanksgiving. And, you know, the full moon is a lot about conflict. It's in opposition. Then there's also a lot of squares happening. So we will see things happening collectively in our society in November that might challenge you to have faith. But I'm telling you, it's coming. I'm telling you, good things are coming. So stay positive. And sorry, my phone is shaking so much. My hand's kind of shaking. Doing too many videos. Trying to do that batch thing that they talk about when you have a business. They talk about batching. It doesn't really work. I need a selfie stick. I hate selfie sticks, but I think this would be the good time. Yeah, exciting news, right? So we have that new moon happening this week. You want to set intention around. It does have to do with others. So having community, having relationships, having things work out for you in terms of alchemical processes. So in terms of, you know, you're relating to others, your communication, there is a highlight to communication because Mercury is going to go retrograde in Sagittarius, which is going to be conjunct Jupiter. So I just want to say, like, this is a really big time because it hasn't happened since 2006. So we really want to be aware of the shifting and changing, and also to have that awareness. Okay, you guys, I'm going to redo this. I'm having problems with my YouTube. Uploading to my YouTube has been a pain in the ass. And I'm having trouble recording because, like, this guy, or there's always some guy. It's always some dude or something happening that's causing me to not be able to record. But, yeah, so I guess I won't be able to do this. But you can check out my YouTube, and hopefully I'll have something up sometime. Or not. So if you want to work with me or you want to order one of those readings, I can't even guarantee. I don't know what Mercury retrograde is going to do for me, but already I'm feeling the effects of it. So it is about reprocessing, redoing, and analyzing. And in Sagittarius, it has to do with the mind and how we process things and how we learn and we grow. So if we're feeling challenged, like I am right now, then you can often find that there's learning to be had in that, in terms of maybe just re-evaluating how you're doing things, like bringing your dog with you to record videos. Maybe not the smartest idea. And then the nodes are changing sign. I have a whole video on that I couldn't upload to YouTube, but it is on my IGTV, and it's actually on Facebook. So if you want to go to my profile, you can see it there. Hi, Stephanie. Hugs to you too. There's always some guy, right? Damn. So looking at this cycle, we have the new moon in Scorpio, and then we have the full moon in Gemini, and that's an interesting, those two are very interesting in terms of information, being clear about the information that you're giving and receiving, and that it's clear, that it's honest, that it's truthful, and then being aware of the information that other people are giving you, and really checking in with your intuition to see if it feels truthful and honest. And for Thanksgiving, you might want to plan a more mellow get-together than you were originally planning, because the full moon will be happening that day, and it has a lot of squares, a lot of challenges. So if you do a family gathering, just maybe smoke a lot of ganj before you go. Just kidding. I don't recommend marijuana. I was actually just talking about Neptune and being a little delusional if you do too much of that, or if you do too much of anything, right? Moderation, though, is great. And if it's legal, I don't know if it's legal where you are, so I shouldn't be talking about it. But there's a trine to Neptune in this new moon that we're having this week, which is a lot about Neptune, and the shadow side can be Neptune in the shadow side can be about delusions, or like not being with reality and getting too far too deep. I find that sometimes I go there working for myself and not talking to a lot of people. I have to like have my check-in points, right? And then the light side is being really in touch with spirituality, being really in touch with God, Goddess, the greater good, whatever you want to call it. So we have that trine to that, and then we have a sextile to Pluto, and this is where Pluto rules Scorpio, and so we have this trine to Pluto with the new moon in Scorpio, so it's very Plutonic. And with this, we really want to be honest with ourselves and dig in there and see what's that poison that's been keeping us back, holding us back from our truest self, from our truest path and purpose. So this is a really good time to work with me and to get the healing work that you need. I also want to say I'm really excited to do a retreat in Sedona, and it's going to be, I actually was looking at it this morning. I knew that it was on the eclipse, but I didn't know that the eclipse would be viewable from where we will be at in Sedona. And so that is on Martin Luther King weekend, so Friday to Monday. And if you can make it or you're interested, please PM me. It's going to be super exciting, and it's in January to plan for the year ahead and do some kind of the hero's journey work, and also fulfilling your personal destiny and your personal legend, as I got from The Alchemist. If you ever read The Alchemist, it's a great book. And so anyway, that's all I wanted to say, and I hope you guys have a beautiful week. And if you wanted to get those mini readings with me, they are $55, and you can PM me. I don't know if I talked about them here, but basically they look at the year transit for you, especially around Jupiter, and what transits and aspects it's hitting in your chart, so that you can plan. And I want you guys to have an abundant year. I want you to be kicking ass out there and taking names. I know, Stephanie, it's going to be amazing, and then we'll actually get sun, no rain, hopefully. Okay, so if you're interested, PM me, and that's it, guys. Love you all. Have a great day. Bye.